We got caught up playing East-West instead of just putting our heads down and attacking the basket, getting to the paint, living at the free throw line. You know, when teams are aggressive like that, you got to play downhill. You got to draw them. They're going to collapse. You got to make the simple pass, simple play. And I thought too many times we just got caught up in over-dribbling, holding the ball too many seconds, not playing with a sense of urgency, not playing with any pace. And we'll look at it on film tomorrow.
Darvin, sort of related to that, when a guy is as hot as AD was tonight, 38 points, what can your team do better to play off of that and use his gravity more effectively than you guys were able to tonight?
Well, you know, it was a time that we just looked like we were playing in mud. We weren't playing fast enough. We weren't getting any stops. So once we were buckled down on defense, you know, that gave us a chance to get back into the game. We were able to call some bad shots, some turnovers, get some rebounds, and push it, play fast, and that really helped us. But that's how we have to play like that. It can't be because of pressure. We have to play like that whether there's pressure or not. That's how we have to play. And it just too many times I felt like our energy was off, our effort was off in certain plays. We didn't seem to have any urgency. It was like we were playing. They're playing. You know, they're fighting for their life as well, trying to get into the postseason. And they had that urgency. We didn't. And you know, that's something we have to address. And we talked about it in post-game. But tomorrow we look at it on film and then try to come out and have a better performance on Sunday.
Darvin, Dennis had 12 assists and 0 turnovers, which obviously is positive, but then 3 for 13. What do you make of his night, and how much, if at all, was he hampered by the ankle injury that he's dealing with?
Well, he expressed no concern about playing. Our medical staff cleared him, and so that's not an excuse, and we're not going to use it as one. You know, he wouldn't have been out there if it was an issue with his ankle. I just felt like, you know, they put a bigger guy on him, and some of those looks he normally gets, you know, he just didn't. You know, Jaden is we talked about him in my pregame presser. You know, he's versatile. He can guard all positions. He's quick laterally, quick vertically. Extremely really good player. And, you know, it just caused problems for him. And you're going to have nights like that. But Dennis did his best, you know, to try to get other people going and finding the right people, getting the ball to the right people, thus the 12 assists. But, again, that was just a tough matchup.
Darvin, you talked about them having a sense of urgency, and you guys obviously are right on that cusp. I don't know how much you guys watching the standings now, like the teams you're trying to catch or the teams you're trying to hold off for that to just get into the play-ins.
I mean, we're all aware of it. It just, again, I tell my team every day the first order of business is to take care of our business. We have to come with energy, effort, and urgency. Those 3 words. And unfortunately, you can't coach any of those 3. We can encourage it. You can try to make it happen. You can find the right guys, the mix of guys that are playing with that and that edge that we need to have, and try to put them on the floor and have them close out the game or play in certain stretches, long stretches for you. But energy, effort, and urgency. We've been writing those words on our board. We know we should know what the circumstances are, and there's no reason, no excuse for us to come out and not have that. You know, and against the team that we're competing for to try to get a spot. So you saw the way they played. They were up in our chest all night, and it was times where until the very end when we finally woke up and got aggressive, we just seemed like we were on our heels. And you can't have that, especially when you're sitting in the position we're sitting in and trying to get to where we're trying to get to.
Is there also a quality of, like, LeBron's out and you kind of have to do it for him at this point? Like,
that's no excuse. Like that, we're not using that as an excuse. LeBron is, you know, he's there coaching them up right along with the coaching staff. And and even with D'Lo being out, we have more than enough. We have more than enough capable players to go out and win a game. And regardless of who we're playing, we have more than enough in that locker room to win.
Darvin, 2 for you. You guys had cut it to 4, and I think AD lost his shoe on a play and had to play an entire defensive position. Did you guys want to foul there, or did you think about fouling there?
I just took the timeout. I saw it, and that was my first knee-jerk reaction, just to take a timeout. You go back and look at it, you second guess yourself. Hindsight is always 20/20, but I just decided to take a timeout.
And then you guys are in this sprint right? That's going to last a month, basically. How locked in mentally is that as big of a challenge as anything? Do you think to play functionally 20 games that all feel like must wins in certain levels?
Well, I think when you're trying to go out each and every day, game day, non-game day, and you're trying to see how you can be the best versions of yourself, I don't see why or how that could be pressing. We're in this position. We've told our team we just have to take them one game at a time. We can't be locked in for 2.5, 3 hours out of a 24-hour day. I've been around this thing 26 years, multiple championships, like multiple trips as a player and a coach to the postseason. If someone has to tell you that you can't be locked in, we do basketball for a living. Someone shouldn't have to tell you to be locked in. We get paid millions of dollars to do basketball for a living, which only takes, whether it's a practice, a shoot around, a game, anywhere from an hour, sometimes 45 minutes to 2.5, 3 hours. A sport. We're not digging ditches all day. We're not building homes. We're not doing construction, risking our lives. We're doing basketball for a living. And we're playing for one of the most recognizable, historic franchises on the face of the earth. The most. If that doesn't motivate you to go out and try to be the best version of yourself, I don't know what will. And we talk about it. And we pour into our players to try to make them better individually and collectively. And so we're going to keep preaching it. We're going to keep harping on it until there's no time left and there's just no chance of us doing it. But until then, we're putting our best foot forward every day. Trust me.
All right, some interesting quotes there from Darvin Ham. Very critical about his team tonight. It sounded like he was critical about the lack of, let's call it, urgency, that the Minnesota Timberwolves played with more of a lack of urgency, and by the time the Lakers woke up there in that fourth quarter, too little too late. You got to play perfect basketball. You got guys on the other side like Anthony Edwards that can hit big shots. Mike Conley hits a key three. He sounded frustrated, and probably the right emotion to have after a loss like this, a key game and a key loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves, 110-102. We'll take some of your phone calls when we come back. We'll also get a chance to listen to Anthony Davis, 877-710-ESPN. Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
All right, we're reminding you that Pickleball Madness, or March Pickleball Madness, is coming up on March 18th at Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. It's free for all non-participants, and there's a million things to do, Al.
All right, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come out, hang out. We do these events every time we do them. We love having listeners there. We got our Pop-A-Shot Challenge. We got a beer garden going on. So we got everything going on. Don't forget that day.
Games for the kids. Bring the kids on out. It'll be a great time. You'll watch me and Al just wipe the floor with everybody because we're pickleball experts.
We'll be out in the first round.
All right, I'm talking to all 710 listeners right now. Let's start off with this. March 18th, it's a Saturday afternoon.
Game and your reaction on the Lakers line.
Presented by Pizza Hut. Try the new Detroit style from Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Hi, this is Anthony Davis of your Los Angeles Lakers.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
It's time for Lakers Postgame with Sliwa.
Now, here's Alan Sliwa.
Points of the Paint all season long is sponsored by Vista Paint. Right now, local residents can take 40% off on factory direct high-quality Vista Paint products. A Vista Paint team member will show you how. Locally owned, manufactured, and operated since 1956. Visit vistapaint.com and start saving. Points in the paint tonight give that edge to the Minnesota Timberwolves 56-44. T-Wolves also win the game 110-102. 102, the final score. Let's take a couple phone calls here. We'll get a chance to listen to Anthony Davis. Let's go to Solomon in Lake Balboa. What's going on, Solomon?
I was trying to explain to your screener, but he didn't quite let me finish because I was saying that the Lakers looked pretty disorganized in the closing minutes of the game. And I'm going to have to put that on Marvin Ham when he said, oh, so it's all his fault. I'm not saying it's all his fault, but he just got done saying that he thinks the team is good enough and deep enough, regardless if LeBron or D'Lo is not there. Apparently they're not. So you're going to have to coach it up a little bit more, Darvin Ham, to find that, a flow and coaching ability to try to help those players close out a game. So it's not all on him. When they needed a shot, they didn't get it. When they needed a stop, they didn't get it. That's on the players. But they did look
so Solomon, I'll jump in. I appreciate you calling in. So first off, I think the D'Lo thing is a very, very big deal. D'Angelo Russell, as soon as he could come back, the Lakers desperately need him. Put that to the side. For me, it didn't come down to the last couple of minutes, to be honest with you. I think there's been some games that the Lakers have had some lack of execution at the end, and we've been critical about it. But this wasn't one of those, all right, it's a 3-point game, Lakers are up 3, do you foul, do you not foul? This isn't one of those, hey, do you use the timeout at the end, do you not? I think the Lakers just dug themselves too much of a hole. When you're down 9-10 points with 6-7 minutes left in the game, you got to play pretty much perfect basketball. I thought it was second quarter you had 21 points. Third quarter you had 21 points. Never really had too much of a flow in offense. And when you're fighting from behind the entire time, I know you might look at a couple possessions towards the end and say, oh, man, they could have really used a good possession there or could have used a 3, but they're playing from behind the entire time. So I think there were some other parts of the game that I'd have been more critical on than those final couple of possessions, simply because, like I mentioned, you're fighting to come back the entire way. Eventually the other team's going to score when you're on a run. Eventually you're going to miss shots when you're on a run, and that happened to the Lakers. The problem was they had dug themselves such a hole. Leon in Beverly Hills. What's going on, Leon?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for calling in.
I agree with Solomon. And I guess to get more specific about it is that, let's say you just mentioned that, well, they're missing D'Lo. So you know what would happen if D'Lo was in the game? He would hand the ball off to he'd get the ball to D'Lo, and they'd run the high pick and roll every time. And that's the problem with him. He's not we finally have a sniper, a great shooter from the three-point line. Do we ever see any plays run for that guy off the ball to get him a shot from the three-point line, Beasley? No, it's always just by circumstance that if he happens to get the ball, hopefully he can make a play. There's never a play run for him. There's never a play run for Walker. Well, he put the ball in Walker's hands a couple times instead of Schröder. Schröder 3 for 13. But, I just didn't see – that's the thing I think that Solomon is alluding to. It's just that it's just like just do the same thing. Let run the high screen roll and just hope that things work out. That's what I think.
I appreciate you calling in. Well, I think if the call is more, I don't think there's enough plays run, period, or enough execution, and you're not targeting just the final minutes tonight, I'm okay with that. Yeah, that part I can understand, especially when there's no. I keep using the word there was no flow on offense. That's when obviously the squad, the head coach, the point guard, whatever you want to call it's got to say, all right, well, now we got to run some set plays. And that part I don't disagree with. They were stagnant tonight. They only had 102 points. If you have 102 points and one guy scores 38, then obviously you're not getting enough from the entire squad. All right, let's take a listen here. Here's Anthony Davis get his thoughts on the Lakers' loss tonight.
Was he there the way you guys wanted? Is that what you felt too?
I feel like we played hard. We had some stretches both ends of the floor throughout the course of the game, especially in the third quarter. Whether the turnover, bad shot, miscues on defense, but we went out and competed. Trying to make the right plays. Like I said, the stretches in the third quarter, even in the end of the second, going to half. think we had 21 points in the second and the third. We just didn't score enough. We did a pretty good job defensively, started the first quarter. They had 33. Other than that, I think we held them under 26 each quarter, something like that. So just had them stretches where, it's the tell of the game. And at this point, we got to be locked in for a full 48. We can't have those miscues, which essentially cost us the game tonight.
They have two defenders in Jalen and Ant with length and who can pressure. Do you feel like that was sort of key, and you guys are still kind of adjusting to life without LeBron and D'Lo right now as playmakers?
A little bit. I mean, we just try to get screens. I try to get 2 screens, got 2 offensive fouls. I think Vando ended up getting one. And, when guys are pressuring like that, just got to get off of it and then maybe do some more like give-it-go action, kind of release that pressure or screen in the backcourt. So our job is big to kind of free up our guards. Unfortunately, we got called with some offensive fouls today trying to do so, but I think we got ball handlers. DS handles the ball, AR. But we got to get them guys a little bit more freedom to be able to create and play make by setting screens.
Darvin said at times it seemed like you guys were stuck in mud out there. Do you feel that same way? Things are just like a step slow on offense?
I don't know. Like I said, I feel like playing pretty good basketball, shot some bad shots, some turnovers, some miscues, but it just sucks because we, like I said, uphill battle, and every possession counts. But I think it's just our third quarter, and they got a little bit more physical with us to come out at halftime, and it took us a half a quarter to kind of adjust. And they kind of separated the game. That was the tail of the game right there, like the first 6 minutes of the third quarter. And they end up getting, 8, 10-point lead. You cut it, but we just couldn't get over the hump.
Andy, how much do you look at the standings and realize how close you guys are, but still you're not in that top 10 spot?
At the end of the day, the standings are what they are. We got to be able to do what we got to do, control what we control, and that's win basketball games. Fortunately, other teams are losing. But we got to do our part in winning basketball games, and the rest will take care of itself.
His frustration is they're just not being able to gain traction, right? Like just with injuries or not being able to have D'Lo out there, you're there, and then a game like tonight where you're right there and D'Angelo's not there, right? How much of just not being able to get past into that 7 to 10 spot even that Brad's talking about?
I mean, when our team is whole, we've shown what we can do. And it's just tough, D'Lo comes in, I think maybe the third game, he feels the ankle, Bron a couple games ago. So it's just tough, knowing how good we are as a whole. But we got enough of this locker room to win basketball games. We've shown that. So other guys have to step up until those guys are able to get healthy and come back.
You got it down to like 3 or 4 with about 3-something left. What did you see over the last few minutes that was kind of the difference in not being able to get over the hump?
We played a little harder. They made some tough shots. Mike hit the 3. Ant came up, hit the walk-up 3. They made some timely shots. Like I say, it's tough, in the third quarter. We come out and kind of the first 6 minutes, and that's when the separation of the game happened, and now it's an uphill battle. So now you're using all your energy to just get it even, tie the game, instead of being up 2-4 whatever and pushing the lead up. So we just got to be better.
When you lost your shoe, was there a thought to foul, or did you feel like that affected the defensive possession in any way?
A little bit. The floor was definitely slippery. I'm not sure there was a penalty or not at that time, but you just try to get a stop. Rudy just made a great play. So Mike, I tried to just get there and get back out, but I just couldn't move. Mike made a big shot, so hats off to them. They're doing a great read.
All right, that's Anthony Davis right there. Final score tonight: Lakers lose 110-102. When we come back, we'll get a chance to hear from Lonnie Walker. Stay right here. This is the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
All right, we're reminding you that Pickleball Madness, or March Pickleball Madness, is coming up on March 18th at Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. It's free for all non-participants, and there's a million things to do, Al.
All right, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come out, hang out. We do these events every time we do them. We love having listeners there. We got our Pop-A-Shot Challenge. We got a beer garden going on. So we got everything going on. Don't forget that day.
Games for the kids. Bring the kids on out. It'll be a great time. You'll watch me and Al just wipe the floor with everybody because we're pickleball experts.
We'll be out in the first round.
All right, I'm talking to all 710 listeners right now. Let's start off with this. March 18th, it's a Saturday afternoon. Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. That is where I am about to teach everybody a little bit about pickleball. And the reason is because you see my father here is a world champion pickleball player. And while I have never played pickleball, not one time in my entire life, I already got my own racket, which means I'm about to kick some you-know-what. So come on out and support. Be there. We'll all watch college ball games together, and we are going to win.
You're listening to the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show.
Highlights from tonight's Lakers game and your reaction on the Lakers line. The Los Angeles Lakers on 710 ESPN.
Presented by Pizza Hut. Try the new Detroit style from Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Once again, here's Alan Sliwa.
Lakers lose to the Minnesota Timberwolves 110-102, the final score. We're going to get to Lonnie Walker in just a second. He's only 3 players for the Lakers scored in double figures. He was one of them. Let's take a quick call here. Chuck in L.A. What's going on, Chuck?
Hey, what's going on, bro? Look, Ham is not a good coach. I knew it from the beginning, but this particular game, it sealed the deal for me, for him as a coach. I forgot who we was playing against, but we needed a 3-pointer to tie the game up, to take it to overtime. He specifically ran a play for Matt Ryan, who's been riding the bench the whole game, to come in and hit a crucial 3-pointer. And he hit it. He was willing to win or die off a guy who's not good enough to play during regulation. But he's good enough for you to run a play for him to win the game or lose the game. It makes no sense, bro. I don't understand what he's doing as a coach.
Appreciate you calling in. Appreciate you calling in, Chuck. I'm assuming the game you're talking about is very early on in the season when the Lakers used Matt Ryan to hit a 3 against the Pelicans. I'm assuming that. Took a few calls so far tonight. I think everyone had some frustration on Darvin Ham in his execution or lack of execution throughout the game. I think most people were trying to talk specifically towards the end. I thought I was more frustrated as the game kind of progressed. Lakers were digging themselves a hole. There was no flaw in offense. It didn't seem like there was much adjustments. Let's put it that way. But regardless, this one was a little bit tougher to swallow. It's not that Minnesota didn't play good enough to win. They did. I was talking just kind of internally here at the station, saying that if the Lakers came back and won that game, you would have thought they stole that game because Minnesota had the lead primarily the entire way. Lakers took a lead early. I think they went up by 7, but after that, Minnesota had the lead pretty much the rest of the way. All right, let's take a quick listen to Lonnie Walker on the Lakers' loss.
AD was just saying how the key was at first 6 minutes of the third quarter. What would you see out there at that time?
Just, a little bit of effort. I think we started off a little bit slow. I think it was like 11-2 run, I believe. They came out ready to play. And we can't really make those mistakes. We got 18 games left, and we got to lock in. So, it's just things that we can for sure clean up and fix and be mentally prepared on. I know we're going to watch film tomorrow and see what we can do for our next game. But that just comes with just effort overall.
So frustrating because you see, if you look at the standings, a lot of the teams above you guys right now, they're not winning a ton of games either. But you guys can't find that traction to get a winning streak going.
Yeah, absolutely. But, we don't have D'Lo and LeBron. So, as a team, we have to come together even more. Make the right plays, make the extra pass, trust in the teammates, and have fun most importantly. So, we know what we have to do. We just got to continue to pick it up, cut out the slack, and play our game.
What influence did their pressure have on how your offense was able to run tonight? What influence did their pressure and their length have on you guys getting into your offense?
Slowed us down a little bit. But overall, we had a couple key moments. I had a turnover at the end of the game. That was pretty costly. I think we just got to continue to be aggressive through it all, not be on our heels, be on our toes, If they're going to be that aggressive, we got to continue to be aggressive and look for the fouls and make the game easier. I think we have a lot of great talent as far as shooting and scoring and athleticism. And we just got to see what we can do better and just build from there.
How much are you tracking the standings right now, personally?
A lot. I want to be in the playoffs. My rookie year is the only time I got to embrace the playoffs. I didn't get to play it, but being in that atmosphere was 1-1. So I'm craving for it. I'm addicted to it. I know that we're pretty much just exactly where we are before the game, which is a good thing, maybe per se. But I want to be in the playoffs. That's always been my thing. I think it all comes with just embracing it. This is a new situation for a few of us, a lot of us, and we got to rely on each other much more.
All right, that's Lonnie Walker right there. So keep hearing everybody talking about the standings. I'll go through a couple scores around the NBA real quick. So at least the games that have some type of impact on the Lakers. Hawks beat the Blazers 129-111. Lakers needed the Hawks to lose. Thunder beat the Jazz 130-103. Lakers needed the Jazz to lose. Warriors beat the Pelicans. It's a benefit to the Lakers if the Pelicans lose, which happened. And then the Kings beat the Clippers 128-127, so that obviously helped the Lakers as well. Clippers have now lost 5 games in a row since the All-Star break. I point that all out because the standings right now, the only moving really going on, Golden State kind of keeps moving up. They've won 5 games in a row. Lakers got them coming up on Sunday. Minnesota's won 2 games in a row. They beat the Clippers, they beat the Lakers, so they're obviously moving up in the standings. The Thunder moved up because they won their game, so they gained a little bit of ground on the Lakers, but other than that, everybody took L's. I'm not counting the top 3 teams in the West just because that really doesn't have an impact on the Lakers. Phoenix won as well. Again, that's another team that doesn't have an impact. But with 18 games left now in the season, Lakers still 1 game out of that number 10 spot. And give the Minnesota Timberwolves credit. They came in tonight. Didn't matter how long they were hanging out in L.A. for, which has been a few days now. They sweep L.A. They beat the Clippers and they beat the Lakers. Okay, our next game coming up is going to be Sunday night. So it's an afternoon game against the Golden State Warriors. Look like Steph Curry is possibly going to come back in that game. We're still not sure if D'Angelo Russell is going to go. So it's a big one. It's another big one you could just add to the list here. Lakers have a 5-game homestand, 1 down, 4 to go. The 4 remaining, Warriors, Memphis, Toronto, and New York. So all teams that are in the hunt. New York playing as good as basketball as anybody out there. I think their win streak now is up to 8 in a row, so they're playing some good basketball. We'll face them a week from Sunday. Couple shout-outs here. Thank you to Michael Funches. Thank you to Wilbert Flores and Brian Cohen for our social media department. Thank you to Josh Martinez and Cody Liu. Appreciate everybody listening here on the broadcast and watching on our social platforms. I'm Alan Sliwa. This has been the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show. Lakers lose to the Timberwolves 110-102, 710 ESPN.
Thank you for listening to Lakers Basketball Tonight.
Lakers Basketball on ESPNLA is sponsored by Subaru of Glendale,
the #1 volume Subaru dealer in California.
Lakers Basketball, delivered by new melts from Pizza Hut. Cheesy, crispy, and loaded with toppings for just $6.99. Enough for 2, price for 1. New Pizza Hut melts, only at Pizza